I'm going to crack this.
Please don't do that.
What?
Don't slurp like that.
Okay.
Over and over again. That was that was overemphasized. You don't just drink like that, do you?
I don't know. I
would have noticed it. We've been friends for too long. You don't do that all the time.
Yeah.
That might have just been like, let's get this puppy going.
Yeah.
High energy drinking.
I think exactly. That is exactly what it was.
We've been friends for too long. I would know if you just drank like out of cans like a crazy person. I mean, that was like the loudest noise that's happened in this room all day was that slurp.
I don't think so. I think that almost every single word you have said is louder.
I was being a bit obtuse, obviously, but
all right.
Let's go.
Hello and welcome to the Tim Hardaway episode of the Hoop Theory Podcast, aka episode 89, which is in honor of him being one of the best players selected in the 1989 NBA draft. Recording this one on the evening of Friday, June 14th. My name is Logan Werman, and as usual, I'm joined by my decadent co-host, Jacob Roth.
You're going to say depressed because I am effing depressed.
Yeah.
Just kidding. We're up 3-1, but that was a ugly one.
Mm-hmm. To say the least.
Yeah, we're in person. I guess that's kind of buried the lead. I don't know if people can tell because I'm like looking off kilter. It's directly at your eyes though. I'll try to like mostly focus up on the camera I got here, but might be throwing them your way. You're a looker. But we'll see how it'll be fun. It was a game that I knew was gonna happen, but it was like that dumb Celtics high turnover game plus the dumb Celtics bad shooting night plus all the role players played really, really well at home.
For Dallas, yeah.
And it just hurts because it was a 38-point game. That's the part that's like a big...
Only 38, though? It got below 40?
It did get below 40, despite the best efforts of... we should have thought of this. Tim Hardaway Jr. Had the playoff game of his life in, was it like 7 minutes? His first 7 minutes on the court. In the... I don't even know if garbage time describes this. This is such aggressive garbage time. It started halfway through the third.
Yeah.
Halfway's a bit extreme.
It's like 3 minutes left in the third.
But like, Steve Mikhailo got in with like 4 minutes left in the third. Yeah. It's just garbage time. Tim Hardaway comes in to open the fourth. 5 for 6 from three-point land. And I'm like, oof. Okay, so the exciting whites, the Celtics bench, are not going to make this game look better. And that's fine. Whether they win by 100 or win by 2-1, they're
Either
still
way.
down 3-1. It doesn't matter. We go back to Boston. If we don't have a fire underneath of us, I don't know what else to do. Like, does Joe Mazzulla need to publicly execute like an offspring of Red Auerbach? I don't know what needs to happen for. It just was like everything that like those like little nagging habits that the Celtics have had the past like 6 years. The Tatum era 6 years.
Yeah. 2017 draft?
Yeah, 17 draft. Because Jalen was the 16 draft.
Yeah.
There's like all these little things that like Drew couldn't keep a handle. Like he was getting those looks under the basket, but then he'd lose it before he went up.
Yeah, he had some weird decisions.
This wasn't strictly like a Celtics fault. I mean, the Mavericks definitely stepped up defensively. I think that there's a world where you look at this game and go, is that sneaky, the Derek Lively at the age of 20 years old game? Like, did he had a couple big energy plays. And not that his stats are going to pop. I mean, it was a pretty solid stat line, but it was more the like, he caught a couple big lobs and he had a couple blocks. He hit the first 3 of his NBA career.
Yeah.
In a finals game.
So is that real? Did you see that in the stats? Okay. I didn't see it.
But. So that's quite obtuse. But it is how it goes. It's what happens. It is basketball. There was just nobody really had a great game. Jason Tatum looked okay in the first half, but then granted he only had 8 minutes of the second half to do anything because we just sent in Steve Mikhailo and Peyton Pritchard. He was already playing. Peyton Pritchard had a lot of minutes today.
Yeah.
That one was not interesting because he's not like he's bad, but like there's series I would be less worried where they can just be like, granted, this is more of a advantage on paper than it has been practically, but like you think like, I'm Luka Doncic, give me Peyton Pritchard every single day.
Yeah.
And it's like weirdly a coin flip.
Yeah, it has been. It's every single time that I can remember Luka being like posting up Peyton Pritchard, it's been like a really not that great shot that ends up.
He ends up, and I'm sure part of it's like you've got a Jason Tatum like lurking. So like if you take him further in, you'll have somebody else coming up from it. But it's still the fact that like there was a lot of things. I'm glad the Mavericks capitalized and got a game. I fully anticipate a gentleman's sweep because of how they got blown out. The Celtics team, they don't lose 2 in a row. I mean, they would have won today and would have been 80-20 on the season, meaning they win 4 out of every 5. This sounds like copium, and it kind of is. I'm coping. We were due for a loss. Did it need to be 38 points? Absolutely not. But we were due for a loss, and it happened. I need the win. I need it. Because I am a Patriots fan. We've talked about that before. But I didn't witness the bad with the Patriots before they won. Like I wasn't old enough to witness the bad. Yeah. They drafted Bo Rude, and I was like,
were they even bad in '99? Like, were they? Because when they got their first Super Bowl was like
2001.
Early. Oh yeah, 2001. Okay, so very shortly.
I think it was 1-3-4.
And that's the 01 season. So.
No, it wasn't 1 because the 1 was the Ravens. Or was the 1? 2000 was the Ravens and 01 was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Is this year the year of the season or the year of the game?
See, and this is where I'm getting all messed up. Defense ruled the early 2000s. Defensive. Like, it was teams that had, like, meh offenses, but the defenses were just, like, historic all-time juggernauts of menacing.
Yeah. Weren't the Rams really good offensively? Or were they really good defensively?
But they won. Oh, the Titans Super Bowl is in there. The Rams-Titans Super Bowl is in there somewhere.
I know the Rams won in the early 2000s. Because it was the Greatest Show on Turf. It was like the 02 season, something like that.
Well, no, the Greatest Show on Turf lost.
Oh, really?
Unless I'm mixing years up. The Greatest Show on Turf lost to the Patriots in 04.
Oh, I thought the 02 was the Greatest Show on Turf. The whatever team... I'm pretty sure... Because, what's his name? Denzel Washington's son... the
guy that played Tenet?
Yeah, the guy in Tenet. He was on the Rams when they won the Super Bowl. As like he was like I don't even know if he suited it. Like he was a practice squad, like very low level running back. Like I don't think he played at all, but
he gets a ring. He has more rings than the 73-9 Warriors.
That's true, unless you include the player. Yeah, the other ones.
No, I'm talking about like
that
from
season.
Yeah. And that was
a player that was only on that team and not.
Which I don't know if any of those exist.
There's got to be at least one guy that was on that team, but
only on that Anderson Varejao. No, do I have his turncoat season wrong?
I think he was 17. I want to say 2017.
Because he would have won a ring either way, but I think he was publicly like, I'm only going to take the ring if it's the Warriors. With the Warriors, because that is the team I played in the finals on.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, that's a topic that we can talk about in a future day when it's finally sat down and boiled. I would like to revisit
our most legendary clip.
And I don't think I've changed. The more and more I think about it, I don't think that I've changed on it.
Yeah.
I get the argument of the other side more. I'm more open to it. But I don't think that I am like... Because there's some, like, you brought up Gary Payton when we were talking about the Nuggets. You brought up Bones Highland was another name.
Oh, Gary Harris? I was like searching my mind trying to figure out who does he mean?
Gary Harris.
Yeah. No,
Neither Gary Payton would make sense. But,
yeah. I knew it wasn't Gary Payton. I was just trying to figure out who's the guy that's kind of like Gary Payton. He would think. I was thinking Bruce Brown for a second. I was like, no,
Gary Harris.
Yeah.
You were like, he's probably like the most on the outside of like.
Oh yeah, he shouldn't realistically get it. Just that's what my heart wanted.
Yeah, but like you're like Bones, and there was like a couple other guys.
Well, because Bones was going to get one, and that was my whole point. It feels wrong that Bones gets one, but Monte and Will Barton don't.
Yeah,
just because they were traded before the season started. But then Bones, who completely sabotaged
Made it harder.
Yeah, he made it harder for us to win the title, you could argue. And we just gave him up for nothing. We got 2 second-round picks.
Yeah.
So that didn't help us at all to win the championship.
But I don't think that my mind is, because it would be Rob and Marcus Smart.
Oh, for you that you
would be the 2 that like would have that same like Monte Ellis type of like, I wish they kind of got.
But Lamar Stevens gets one because he was here. He was in Boston during the season. He gets one, but Marcus Smart, nope. He doesn't get one.
That feels wrong, but it's how it is, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think the teams can choose who they give them to. But I just think it's traditionally that's what they do is like if anybody that was on the roster.
Yeah, there's some wild people on like Boston Twitter. They're like, let's get one to Keith Bogd. Is it
Keith Bogans?
Let's get one to Chris Humphreys. Everyone that's been here in like since Brad Stevens in 2013.
Yeah, around that range. Because that would be
all those years of tribulation building up to this, and I'm like, no, we don't know.
That makes me laugh a little bit because everybody made so much fun of the Nuggets fans and me. Like people commented on our clip, and it's a big Twitter thing. People make fun of Nuggets fans, like saying that we don't know how to act when we win because we just want to reward anybody who's worn a Nuggets jersey. We want to reward.
Another preposterous Boston City Champions stat. Insanity. This is the second longest drought of a championship in the history of Boston sports history. It is a whopping 5 years across all 4 sports. It's the second longest drought.
Wow. That's incredible, actually.
So the duck boats are always maintained and always ready to go. Because it was like if you go back and look, like the Red Sox were good, and then when the Curse of Bambino started, like Celtics picked stuff up and the Bruins picked stuff up, and then when you got into like the lull of those, the Patriots were in there. Yeah, and I didn't like go back and look at all the things. I just go and look at like everybody's like, this would be tied for the longest drought. And it's 5 years.
Oh, it's tied for the longest.
Or it's second. Sorry, they went down to days in the one that I saw.
Okay.
And it'd be the second longest championship drought ended. But the fact that you say championship drought and then say 5 years feels a bit preposterous.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Because I think it's the Red Sox in 18.
Yeah, something like that, I know.
It'd have to be 19 if it's 5 years.
And Patriots hasn't been that long before that, right? Patriots were just like a year or two before that, the last Patriots Super Bowl.
Falcons? No, Rams. College. I was in college. Maybe it's the Patriots Super Bowl. No.
Eagles. Wasn't it against the Eagles?
We don't talk about that one.
You guys won it, didn't you? Didn't you face them twice? Or am I just wrong? I might just be wrong.
I'm just so depressed, and tired that I can't even think right.
I might just be completely wrong. I
beat the Rams. So Brady's first 3. Panthers.
Okay.
Rams.
We don't need to do this right now. You're in a bad state.
No, this is almost inexcusable.
So Panthers was, you're saying that was like
04.
Okay, so that was your first Super Bowl?
No.
Patriots? I thought it was like really early. This is something that I probably can just look up the answers to. I won't say the answers to you right away unless you want me to. But I will just look up Patriots Super Bowls.
Dude, this is actually, I should be publicly shot.
Okay,
I didn't realize how like kind of tired and out of it I was until I couldn't immediately. I could probably tell you who the MVPs of the Super Bowls were.
Okay, so that I don't know what it's telling me for year, if it's the season year or if it's the game year. But
Eagles the first time. I'm so dumb.
What?
They beat the Eagles the first time in the first run of 3. They beat the Eagles, the Rams, and the Panthers.
Okay.
And then Brady lost to the Giants twice.
And that was like 09, 08, 08, 09.
07.
Or 07.
Well, played in 08, but the 07 season. 18-1. And then they also lost to them in 2010.
Okay. See, I knew it was around the same time that the Celtics were in the finals against the Lakers.
And then the next win was Seahawks in 14. Then they beat the Rams. And then there's one more. The Falcons.
That was 19?
The Falcons was 17, so the Rams was 19 probably.
Okay. And so...
And then they lost to the Eagles in 20.
Wow, is that recent?
Or maybe they lost to the Eagles in... No, they lost to the Eagles in 18.
Yeah, I was going to guess 18.
Lost to the Eagles in 18.
Because I thought Patriots, like the next season is when they got their revenge, but it wasn't against the Eagles.
Brady left and then beat the Chiefs with the Bucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that from that part for sure. But the revenge was not against the Eagles. It was against the Falcons.
No, it was the Falcons were in high school. Falcons was 17.
Yeah, I was gonna say that because that was a 28-3 comeback or whatever.
I will never forget where I was.
I think I was watching that game too, actually.
And I was laying on the ground, and I was so depressed. I just had people throwing Skittles into my mouth. And then once things started going, I was like, "Don't stop."
Because you thought that was...
I was like, I know, obviously, I'm not like that superstitious about stuff, but I was like, we're going to keep doing this. We're not going to stop this. And then I almost choked when Dante Hightower had that strip sack to, like, really get the ball roll. I almost, like, threw up. I choked. I was so close to choking.
From pure joy?
No, from a Skittle going down my throat. Anyway, back to basketball. It's 3-1. Mavericks, congratulations. I think you have... You've won a game in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm going to say what my heart said before the series started. Mm-hmm. Celtics in 5. I leaned 4. Didn't come to fruition. But I would like to think that you will go to TD Garden. It will be a raucous is an understatement atmosphere. I'm almost wondering if they should try to play it like in Gillette and let them like start fires like they do in Serbia.
Yeah, that would be a pretty... I don't know if that's allowed.
It's probably not, because you can't play an NBA Finals game outside, but it would be... That'd actually be wild if the Knicks go to...
is that what you said before? In Gillette? Is that a stadium? Okay.
It is the Patriots Stadium.
Yeah, I got a little self-conscious of I'm being in the same room as you and not understanding what you said, so I didn't want to ask you to repeat it.
Oh, no, it's cool.
It was apparently... Okay, so that's where... the Patriots play, so it'll be outside basketball game. That would be a first for sure.
No, that would actually be sick if they just had an NBA Finals is just such a close dead heat. Somehow they go into quadruple overtime, still tied. They just say we're gonna take a break. We're finishing this game at Rucker Park. We're just send your best 3 guys, 3-on-3, 2s and 3s, first to 21.
Like street ball.
Just back to its
no
roots.
Refs.
No refs.
Chain net.
Scott Foster's there, but he's only a courtside DJ.
Oh man, playing Spearfish and Michael Franti and Spearfish, his favorite artist.
That'd be such a dud of a way to... It'd be a cool concept, but end it there. Mm-hmm. Why is that not an event at All-Star Weekend? You get a bunch of guys that
what?
That not not street ball, but a type of a 3-on-3. Because who's the Pelicans? Not Moutier. Etuan Moore is famously
really good.
People have talked about no, he'll give anybody the business 1-on-1.
Or it was a famous story of the Heat after practice every day. Michael Beasley and LeBron would play 1-on-1, and Michael Beasley won literally 4 out of 5 times.
Consistently.
Very consistently, yeah.
I think that would be an interesting... So there's a lot of guys that will never make an All-Star game that could fall into that category, that could spice up All-Star Weekend. Mm-hmm. Where you just have, who's a guy that I feel could probably
Jordan Clarkson.
That's the prototype, picture-perfect, that guy.
Yeah.
Jordan Clarkson just goes... Who's another one?
Bones Highland, honestly. Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah. He's too short for the defensive side.
Yeah. Jaden Hardy. Who's the guy on the Bucks? Marjon Beauchamp.
I thought you were going to say Marshawn Brooks, because that's another guy that 2K legend Marshawn Brooks.
Marjon Beauchamp, he scored like 80-something points in a Pro-Am last summer, I think.
That's what Peyton Pritchard did after the Celtics lost the finals. He just
I think he scored 90, didn't he?
I don't remember what the number was. I just knew that it was comically high.
Yeah, I think he scored 90 points in Portland. It was like in his hometown.
That's crazy.
Pro-Am. I think it was like a pretty big. It was Jamal Crawford's Pro-Am, the one he hosts. So it was a pretty major one as far as the Pro-Ams go.
I honestly, we need to look at that number. I feel like 90 is insane.
I think it was 90. I want to say.
Yeah. Well,
I think if not 90 was more than 90. Like not above 100.
No, because that would be everywhere.
Yeah,
there would be pictures of 5'9" Peyton Pritchard holding up the 100 sign.
Yeah.
Like it would be everywhere.
I think Marjon Beauchamp had 82, if memory serves correct, which we think we've noticed, or we've noted that on this podcast before. My brain, for some reason, I just trust it because it's like that number feels right, and it's usually right.
That's also an interesting topic to go back in time. Like, who are some guys that you think would be just saucy one-on-one that weren't necessarily NBA greats, but just were an interesting wrinkle.
Yeah. To follow up on my claim that I remember numbers so well, Marjon Beauchamp erupted for 83 points, and his was actually in the crossover Pro-Am, the Jamal Crawford one. So I'm mixing things up a little bit, but Peyton Pritchard's Pro-Am number was 92. So yeah, and
Mookie Blaylock probably could handle people one-on-one.
He was mostly a defensive guy, I think, from what I know.
But I feel with spacing, he's got the intangibles.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to think of obscure,
random people
that you feel could be good to one-on-one.
The microwave, Vinnie Johnson.
Oh, we forgot the actual just guy. Jamal Crawford. That's probably worth bringing up.
Yeah.
Joe Smith. Joe Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Joe Johnson is another ISO Joe.
Yeah. Big three. He's probably the GOAT of the big three. I don't know near enough to make that claim.
But I'll throw it out there. I'll say it with my chest.
I don't think I've ever watched a single game of the big. Have you ever watched it?
Big three, yeah.
I've seen it on the screen when I've been at a sports bar or something, but I've never actually watched a game from start to finish.
I don't watch the Big Three League that frequently. I actively watch Olympic 3-on-3s.
Jimmer Fredette.
Because of my boy Jimmer.
Mm-hmm. And Haley Van Leef, she's doing it this year for the women's, I think, right?
Oh, really? Is that the Louisville LSU gal?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure she is, at least.
Yeah, and then that'd be she's a pretty pure point guard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure who else is.
You could honestly throw any kind of combo, because I imagine you want a big and then a shooter. Go just from I guess Van List is going back to college, but you could do Caitlin Clark and then Cameron Brink. That'd be sauce.
Especially
that'd be the exciting whites.
Yeah.
That'd be more exciting than the Celtics bench.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is because it's people that aren't on the 5-on-5 team. That's an important caveat.
Yeah.
Very clearly, you could put Asia Wilson.
We could talk about that, honestly, because Caitlin Clark, quite famously, did not make the women's Olympic team. I feel like I know what side of this you're going to land on.
If Caitlin Clark was brown, no one would talk about it at all.
Are you intentionally basically parodying Isaiah Thomas? That's what he said about Larry Bird, famously.
No.
He said that basically word for word. If he was black, is what he said, then nobody would talk about Larry Bird.
Oh, I'm not talking about her as a basketball player. I'm talking about the outrage.
Just for the not making the Olympic team.
Yes, because then people like Clay Travis wouldn't scoop it up and be like. And wouldn't
I think there would be some of it, but it definitely what
is it dumb of them to not take the one thing that but one of the just shining star pieces of your team of your sport that like draws all these eyes. Is it dumb to not put that on her team? Absolutely, it's dumb. Because guess what? It's not always the best players.
Yeah, yeah.
But
it's also not that crazy because she isn't one of the top 12 players, from what I know at least.
But there's also like people on there that aren't the top 12 either. There's like a lot of people that are getting cut out that are like
for top 12 American players.
Yeah, like on the men's side, Joel Embiid's playing.
What is your point? Is he not a top 12 player?
No, but like. Because they're getting all weird about like countries and all that sort of stuff. This is arguments that I've seen that like, well, this person's technically could be this, and they need to make a spot for Clark. And I'm like, no, it doesn't matter. It's whatever.
They don't need to. It makes sense, obviously, because of all the distraction it would cause of like, if she was on the team, it would be just so much
people
drama.
Watching women's basketball. What an effing tragedy.
Well, that would be the positive side.
Yeah.
But also there would be a lot of, like around the team, every reporter, like all the stories, every single game would be, oh, Caitlin Clark only played like 8 minutes this game. Why? Why is Caitlin Clark not playing?
Yeah, no, it would be obnoxious.
It would just be it feels like that would be a drama-fueled situation.
Also, I want to throw this out there.
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin Clark on the Pacers, the Fever,
mm-hmm. is
like if you were to take the Victor Wembanyama and just throw him on like when the Wizards had Brad Beal and that was it. Because I'm not trying to take anything away from jeez Louise, I am too tired for this. She was the first overall pick last year.
The year before Caitlin Clark?
Yes.
I don't claim to follow this that very much at all.
South Carolina.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about now, but I don't remember her name.
She's got braids and she puts like blonde highlights in the braids or dyes her hair blonde, blonde in the braids.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm guessing she would come up if
you just Google 2023 WNBA first overall pick.
Oh, yeah, okay, it was the first person I just found, but her hair wasn't blonde in the picture I saw. It was red. But it is Aaliyah Boston.
God, I'm so mad at myself. But she's like a very good player, but like the Fever are bad. They are poorly coached. They are just bad. And so it's not like Clark's like atrocious. She just had a couple rough games.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's what rookies do going into the next level. I just think it's obnoxious, and I think it has turned into a political issue more than just a basketball issue, and that is irritating to me. Because for me, sports were just the escape from the weird garbage of the political universe. And then when COVID happened, that just stopped.
Yeah. But I guess
and that's not like a shut up and dribble statement type of thing. Like, that's like a thing. Like, just shut up and dribble. Stop talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
It's more the like when the media part of it is just like constantly talking about the political half of.
I feel like this would probably, even if COVID never happened, this Caitlin Clark situation there would be a race angle at it a lot.
Yeah, because COVID's when it feels like everything on the planet got dialed up to 10 in terms of divisiveness.
It did feel like that for sure. But
I guess it happened before COVID because there was a Colin Kaepernick in the NFL and kneeling during the anthem, so it's not just COVID. But I just miss. And not because athletes shouldn't be able to use their platform to say what they want, because we can use our platform to say whatever we want.
Yeah.
And their platform's just bigger. It doesn't matter. That's not what I'm saying. It's more the coverage of the events.
Yeah, how people have to make it about certain things.
Yeah, where you just have, like, in the middle of the NBA Finals week, a 25-minute segment on First Take about Stephen A. not covering enough WNBA before Caitlin Clark got there, or LeBron James not following Kendrick Perkins anymore, and they talk about it for 15 minutes in between games 2 and 3 of the NBA Finals.
Yeah, that is.
That's not political, but it's more just like, what happened? Why is everything terrible?
I mean, I feel like it's LeBron, so
that's true.
Which I don't want to, because I feel like there's still more on this Caitlin Clark thing.
I'm sorry.
The Caitlin Clark, like the whole, what I feel like is so, it's just kind of like a natural thing that happens with media and just with the situation. It's like she's this really captivating player because she's really good in a way that is very easy to perceive with your eyeballs.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a basketball person, everybody's like, oh, wow, she shoots it from really far away and it goes in.
People in the way and it goes in.
Yeah. Like my dad, ever since he found out about Caitlin Clark, and no matter what basketball game we're watching, he seems to always like, oh, that was almost as far as like Caitlin Clark can shoot it. It's like, okay, Dad. Like, it's just, I don't know. If anybody knows my dad, that is just like a weird, Anyways, but it's just that she's good in that way, and it's something that breaks into the televisions of everybody's home, and she becomes this household name. And obviously, the image of being like a normal white-looking girl, I assume from Iowa. I don't know where she's from.
Yeah, she's from Iowa. I think she's from the Ames area. So she's
Iowa State. She's traitor. Yeah. But so she would be like, it's like a very marketable person for the U.S. as a whole, because, there's some areas of the U.S. that are still pretty, lean white in terms of what they want to follow and cheer for. I'm gonna let you.
Is that as prevalent? That's not the.
I mean, it's definitely enough.
Oh, there's garbage people, but I don't know if we can be like.
I think it's pretty proven every single time that there's been whenever a star gets elevated in this way, it's like it almost always helps if they're white. I don't think that's.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just because, and I don't think there's anything inherent, like, because if roles reversed, we're getting into weird waters right now, but if roles were reversed and like this was America full of it was like just reverse the state of races in culture, you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Swap places with white people and black people.
And then do Mexicans and then Asians people also swap?
No, just don't include them in this hypothetical.
Like by definition.
Just for simplicity's sake, black players would be the more marketable. Black celebrities, would be the more mainstream, more, if I'll put it this way. If the population of the United States was whatever, 75% black, like it is white, it's near that for white, then it would be the exact same thing the other way around. You know what I mean? Like Magic Johnson would have been the much bigger star than Larry Bird.
Yeah.
And although, just continue that thought. I'm trying to say is people just tend to identify with people, like they're like, oh, that's somebody that
looks like my cousin down the road.
Yeah, or it's like somebody who's had a similar background as you, and it's like things like that. Skin color is very surface level thing that you're like, oh, that person, he looks like somebody that I could be related to. That could be me, that type of thing. So I don't think that it's necessarily the big numbers that are driving it are the people with pitchforks and straw hats,
Yeah.
Not those people.
He said white hoods. He didn't have to throw farmers under the bus, but
I guess. But I wasn't really picturing a farmer in my mind when I said that, to be honest.
A pitchfork and a straw hat? You didn't think farmer?
I mean, it makes sense to me now.
I feel like if you characterize, draw Farmer Brown.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I guess I'm just thinking of a redneck person from Mississippi that really, but so if, I feel like those people definitely do affect their numbers at least a little bit, but it's just the even bigger effect is people just non-racistly identify with that person has a similar background to me. I'm drawn towards that person as an icon.
I think that it's honestly, I give more credit kind of the whole rookie class of this WNBA rookie class that came in, because the product, I've watched the WNBA not intently, I'm not catching all 82 games of the Connecticut Sun.
Do they even play 82 games?
I just use that as a number. I don't know how many games they play, but I don't actively turn it off. I kind of keep track. I know who's roughly good, who's roughly bad. The
team wise.
Yeah. I'm not I am what a lot of people are NBA wise, just that
casual. I would say
to the point where someone that still thinks the Warriors are good because they kind of pay attention but not really. They're Steph's still there. Mm-hmm. They're probably fine.
Yeah.
In their fantasy league, they're still taking LeBron with the #1 overall pick because it's the name they know. Mm-hmm. I would be that with the WNBA.
Yeah, I would be even less than that.
The product is way better than it was 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think this year especially, it's grown to a level that's like just insane. Comparatively.
Yeah. So I just think that it's with my opening statement of if she was not white, there would not be this giant outcry from like right-wing media people that she's, or like when she got body checked, like that stuff would not be involved with it. Mm-hmm. So then it wouldn't have, I don't think to the same extent, turned to this, you hate her because she's pretty and white. Those are the two privileges that get thrown around all the time.
Yeah, no. I agree. It would not be anywhere close.
It would not be the level of politicalization.
Yeah, but
if she was a pretty black gal, I don't think it would be the same.
Exactly. But if she didn't make the team, if she was the same exact player, but she was black and she didn't make the team, I still feel like there would be a good amount of people
irritated.
Who would be like, hey, she's like the brightest young star. She wouldn't be as crazy, to the same crazy level as she is right now.
It's like 2004 Olympics not bringing LeBron.
You would say it's that crazy?
No, but it's like in terms of not in terms of talent, but in terms of like just like eyes on the sport.
Yeah.
Type of level of like needle moving.
Because this is like the women's Olympic team is going for their 8th gold medal in a row, which is like a record. I think, of like any Olympic team.
And it's also another thing about it for me is like if she was like moving the needle by the thousands of people, it's the millions.
Yeah, because where I was going with that was apparently like the thing is like even though the women's team has been so crazily successful, the like people still don't seem to really tune in.
Yeah.
Near as much, and adding Caitlin Clark to that to showcase the firepower, like just the greatness, I guess, of the women's
early levels of
basketball program in the U.S. or federation or whatever it's called. Then that would be big for the sport, and like also just it just would feel right. That feels like that would be the right move. But I do see, like I was explaining earlier, the angle of just it being too much drama or too much of a distraction for the team, especially when it's like it's not a player that is necessarily owed a spot.
Yes, 100%. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that's like, there's only like one player that I'd be like, you can't ask him to not. You have to, and that's Taurasi. Like, she has to have a spot.
Oh, okay. But I guess I was thinking in terms of like talent, like the best players in the world right now, like Asia Wilson and
because I don't think
Brianna Stewart.
Yeah, and Ionescu and honestly,
Kelsey
just
Plum.
the entire starting
Vegas.
5 of the Vegas Aces.
Yeah, Candace Parker.
Yeah, that is it's kind of preposterous. Like I don't think that you could take like another sport and be like, that's how broken that team is. That's how insane that team is. They're like all top like 3 at their position.
Yeah, it's like the 2018 Warriors, 2017 Warriors.
More. Like if the gap was even bigger between Steph and point guard number 2.
Oh, that
like I think
that direction
like
going.
Asia Wilson is like, fear me, I am this insane.
Huh. I was just thinking of it dropped off after 4 on the Warrior. Like Iguodala is like probably the 5th best player.
I'm taking Iguodala,
and he's not like a top 5 player at his position.
Yeah,
or he wasn't at the time. But all those the other 4 guys were like top 3 range at least. Draymond was probably not quite like 3 is probably like the ceiling of what he was in terms of power forwards. But
that went down a wild rabbit hole. Honestly, I don't even know if that'll make it. But it probably would because it was too long to not include it. But
yeah, I think it was there were some good points in there.
Because I already kind of clarified what I meant by my opening statement.
Yeah, it's just I think that there's to wrap this up in a tiny little bow. It's just easy for like it'd be crazy if it didn't become about these different topics because of how just the variables are set up. You can very easily make it about anything you want when you start a talk piece on the topic of Caitlin Clark. If you want to make it about race, you can make it about race. If you want to make it about
youth. Mm-hmm. Is it old eating their young is like the adage that like people a little bit. I'm pretty sure that's like they say that like I think it's nurses are wildly known for the older nurses, like eating their young as being like viciously brutal to younger nurses.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So like the same thing of like the WNBA vets
the old guard.
Are being viciously brutal to all of the younger ones. Mm-hmm. And the most prominent younger one is just Caitlin Clark.
Yeah. Gets but
then it gets blown up even more because of the white on black thing.
Yeah.
And
just the microscope being on her in this way that everybody's like, oh, she, like, every single flaw that you could pick apart is, like, you know, microscoped in on, magnified to this degree that, like, I saw a clip recently of her, like, this defender closes out on her. One of the most reckless closeouts I've ever seen. And, like, just completely, she jumps. She gets caught in the air. She's just blatantly beat. And then Caitlin Clark tries to drive against the closeout, attack the closeout, and she just runs straight into Caitlin Clark, who kind of bounces a little bit, and the whistle is promptly blown, understandably. And then the defender decides to like try to mock or mimic Caitlin Clark being bumped by her body slamming into her.
She's also like a really bad flopper.
That's the things I actually commented on this clip was I don't care about Caitlin Clark. I don't have a side, and I'm sure there's probably examples of her flopping. But if this is an example of her flopping, I think everybody is being way too dramatic because this is like this play in particular. Like what was she supposed to do? She didn't do anything unnatural.
No, she is a. Things have changed pretty dramatically since she got to the WNBA, mm-hmm. but the college version of Caitlin Clark, if you want to call it that. Before she got to the WNBA, was a big complainer flopper.
What is that? What is it supposed to mean?
She's changed her demeanor in the WNBA, so like the college version.
But why'd you say if you want to call it that?
I don't know what else to call it. Like if that works, if the college...
Oh, okay.
The college
It sounded like
era.
You were saying like she wasn't at college. Like she was fake, that she wasn't a student or like something like that. It's like if you want to say she was a college player.
What?
That's what you said.
I said none of those things.
Well, you said if you want to call it your college era.
You insinuated that from what I said.
What did you say then? You said, well, if you want to call it...
If that's what you want to call it, because I don't know what else to call her time in college.
Okay.
That's more what I meant. You stretched it into a way different thing than I thought.
What? I
Clip
feel like
this and then have everybody comment if they think that you stretched that or not.
Okay, because I just feel like it was saying that her college era, calling it her college era.
I think the thing that got me is because they're so close together. Like it was like separated by weeks.
Yeah.
So it's hard to call it like a different era.
Yeah, okay. I get that.
Her she's a different player. Her demeanor has changed since she's donned the Fever jersey as opposed to the Hawkeye jersey.
Yeah, no, I that was not what I had confusion about. Yeah.
Yeah. She was definitely a college student that I think graduated.
Yeah.
With like pretty respectable numbers.
So I think it would make sense to call that her college era.
I think it was just the era was more of the issue than the college one in my brain.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
But the she was like really floppy and really whiny at refs.
Yeah.
Like really, really bad to like the extremist of the extreme.
Like more than every
Luka level bad.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was like
to the point where like her parents would be in the stand and be like, stop.
I did see some of that. Her dad getting mad at her for arguing with refs and things like that. Things of that nature. Luka type things, you could say. Luka behavior.
Luka behavior.
Yeah, but speaking of that, we've talked quite a bit about the finals. We'll probably get back to it a little bit here.
Luka had a great game. 3-4.
I would like to touch on really quick because I probably should have done this toward the top, but we did reach 5K followers on TikTok. That was a thing that happened earlier this week. Recording this one on Friday. I think I said that already, but Friday, June 14th. And so we have somebody who has been selected as the winner of that jersey giveaway for anybody who's been following that.
Threw it in a randomizer and it randomly selected
Luke Beal. The name of the winner.
That's his like TikTok name or something. It's not like we're like doxing him on accident.
That is his name on TikTok. Cool. Yes, correct.
So maybe that's not his name. Maybe we're giving it to a Jefferson Smith.
Yeah, could be.
He just wants to be Luke Kennard and Brad Beal's blood brother.
Yeah, a mixture of those two people.
That's how he would self-describe his game.
Yeah, but no
defense.
He's gonna be the lucky winner of the jersey, and so it's exciting, and we're gonna just thank everybody. This will probably be something that's clipped out, so thank you everybody on TikTok for following and consuming our kind of weird random podcast and content that we put out to the world. We really appreciate it.
Also, there's a new thing that we're adding. I don't know if it's made it into a clip or a pod, whatever. Maybe this will be part of the clip, maybe it won't. Head on over to patreon.com/Hoop Theory because there's a new added thing.
Yeah.
At the end of every episode, I'm doing research on a random topic.
Are you sure you want to commit to every episode? You don't. It could be like a monthly thing since they pay monthly on Patreon.
No,
You want to do it every episode?
I've because I only need to do 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
There won't be very long videos. I've out of boredom done 6 or 7 already.
You've recorded them.
I have done the research.
Oh, okay. You've mocked them up a little bit.
I've got them mocked up. The next one, it's an album.
Do you want me to guess it?
We could do that. It's not for today because I don't have my notes here.
Yeah.
But I've recently started listening to albums instead of songs. Probably in the past.
Instead of playlists, you mean?
Yeah. Probably the past year and a half.
Uh-huh.
I did not realize this is the greatest album of the 2000s ever. 2000.
The 2000s ever.
I'm pretty sure it came out in the 2000s.
But it's an thing also. Or
no, it's the greatest pop album ever.
Pop album.
When I say the artist, I'm not going to say it because then I think it's the only album that this artist has that is in that realm. It's it just stands in that category. In terms of this genre of pop music or this era, I think it is the tippity top of that.
Is this a solo artist?
Yeah.
Is it a female or male?
Female.
All right.
Honestly, now that I think about it.
Yeah. You had to think about that?
No.
Okay.
I thought about something else.
Okay.
Well, it's not gonna be this episode. You could.
I know, but I would. Or so you don't want it to be announced yet? Is that the thing?
We can announce it. I don't care.
I just wanted to guess it. Is it? So it's somebody that's pretty prominent.
Very much prominent.
Still
so.
Number one artist in the world type thing.
Maybe at one point in time, but I don't think they're there now.
Okay. But still a pretty big deal. Still in music.
Yes.
But you said this is one album that's in a certain category.
I think that this album is the best out of all of their work. I guess her work, because we know it's a girl, because I already said it's a female.
Yeah.
Out of all of her work, I think that, in my opinion, this one is just kind of sauce.
And you said 2000s, meaning before the 2010s.
It's right in that ballpark.
Lady Gaga.
It is Lady Gaga.
Okay. I was thinking of her from the very beginning.
And then I was double laughing because in her, press media tour for this album, she went on the VMAs and people kept calling her transvestite.
Yeah.
And she's like, maybe I have a penis. And so the fact that it's said I thought that was kind of funny internally.
Yeah. That's literally I think what really pushed me in when you fumbled over not knowing whether she was a man.
Oh no, I know she's a female.
I know, but just that part made me okay, who would that be though? If that was a clue, which I wasn't really thinking it was.
No, it was me just being a little tired because it's midnight.
Yeah.
And so I just stumbled and I stumbled at a bad time. Because if you had said boy or girl, I don't think I would have stumbled. But you said male or female, so I had to mess up.
Yeah, you had to.
It's no, I didn't have to. It's just unfortunate I messed up. But I feel like it is that I feel like you know what album it is then.
I'm not super familiar with the discography, but I'm guessing it was the 2009 one, the Born This Way. No, it would have been the one before that, right? It would be, or her debut album, I would guess. The one with what's that song?
There's a lot of them on this album.
Bad Romance is on this album. And
the
Poker
Fame
Face.
Monster.
Fame Monster. Yeah, I almost said Monster.
The Fame Monster.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's the greatest pop album of whatever era and whatever genre that is.
Yeah.
It's it.
Uh-huh.
There's not a miss.
I think that's a pretty good take, honestly. I mean, I've always been a pretty big fan of, not pretty big fan. I'm not going to say that because I just said I'm not very familiar with her.
I'm a big fan of where her musical career has transitioned.
Yeah.
Because it's gone into to my wheelhouse almost. Where it's a lot more like
singer-songwriting,
writery. As opposed to
weird pop,
awesome
Madonna, but on drugs, a lot more drugs.
Mega Madonna.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
She's kind
of scary.
Previously so. I don't know if she was scary. I think probably as a child I would have found it a lot more
alarming.
Now I'm it's whatever. It's just a person being a bit quirky,
wearing a meat dress. We said that at the same exact time.
Is there other ones that she's got to have other iconic dresses?
I just know the meat one.
The meat one's I think the top of the
creme de la creme.
Katy Perry gets away with wearing some weird stuff too. Gets away with just that doesn't get
Well, what would happen to her?
No, I'm saying I don't feel like she catches as much flack. She's never worn USDA Prime flank steak. But
she's worn some weird candy,
candy stuff. And then she wore a pop cans. Because that video where her eye breaks because her eyelash gets stuck, and so her eye gets stuck closed, and she has to You never seen this video?
Nope.
It makes her look like a robot lizard person.
Okay, interesting.
Which
the pop cans or the eye thing?
Huh?
The eye thing.
The eye thing.
Okay.
Because her eye, I'm almost positive because they got so much when they glue those big eyebrows on. The makeup can get stuck.
Yeah.
And so she blinks and then her eye doesn't come up. And so she's just
but that's part of the video, though. That's not a thing that just happened.
Yeah, it's in the video. Not the music video. This is a live performance.
Oh.
And she's wearing pop cans, and then I think it might be pop can lid chainmail or something.
Interesting. Pop can. Wow, pop can lid. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
The top of a pop can.
Tabbies
oh, the tabs.
That help you.
Yeah. The tabs.
Take the clip from when you started the ep. Was that in the recording, you think?
When I slurp? Oh, yeah. That was definitely in the recording.
So then you can just go
Mm-hmm. I can clip that. Keep it forever.
No, so then I'll do this, and then and you time it up, and then it'll look like I made it with this. Ready? Anyway, getting back on track, Lady Gaga's Fame Monster is a great album. If you're also looking for great albums, Anything Ever by Alan Jackson. What's next to that?
Something I did want to talk about.
I got one.
Okay, you go ahead then.
I think we're transitioning to the same topic. I just thought of a really wild transition.
Okay. Tee it up.
Tee it up?
Yeah.
One of the greatest rap albums of all time is Doggy Style.
Oh, okay. Another West Coast one.
Famously West Coast.
Yeah.
And you know who's famously not a fan of the West Coast as of 2 days ago? Dan Hurley.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Drake before you said as of 2 days ago.
Oh.
Because of the whole Drake-Kendrick beef.
Which is... Also, Drake. Aubrey, if I may.
You may.
You've got to come out with something better. Right after you get obliterated lyrically, which, one, shout out to you for having a supreme amount of confidence in yourself. But then you get squashed by Kendrick. I think that's a pretty widely regarded Kendrick won.
Oh, yeah.
Comfortably. A pretty bad cover of Hey There, Delilah.
Oh, I don't know if I've even heard. I've just feel like I've heard people mention that. What is that about? Did he sing a song that he sang Hey There, Delilah?
But he changed the words a little bit.
That wasn't the Hard Part 6 though, was it? Or was that?
No. This is beef's over. It's over.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean?
Like saying the beef is done. Timeline, action.
So after the Hard Part 6.
After the Hard Part 6. Later on, he comes out with a cover of the hit song by the Plain White T's.
Yeah.
Hey There, Delilah.
It's literally a cover. You just said that he...
It's like how Beyonce covered Jolene.
Oh, okay. So he changed lyrics to match.
Shuffled up. To not a fan of the country album from Beyonce, by the way. Because we're talking about this music thing. Not a fan.
Yeah, I didn't even listen to it, to be honest.
I wish I didn't.
Yeah.
I thought I'd give it a try. You know whose country album's also surprisingly terrible?
Surprisingly terrible?
I was trying to like...
You say Young Gravy?
Yeah, Young Gravy did a country album.
I mean, that does not surprise me at all.
He does have one of the greatest tour names of all time, though. You ready for this?
Sure.
Grits and Gravy.
Okay. That's not
Grits
bad.
and Gravy. That's pretty...
Yeah.
I mean, it's clever. He just released his country album.
Uh-huh. It appeals to the country audience. Grits and Gravy.
Somewhat.
Feels like a country-type platter.
One of the worst songs on the album is with Shania Twain, who is honestly awesome. It's called White Claws.
Okay.
I don't like it. We need to stop talking about
it's
music.
all comedic, right? Is it, or that's not? With the name like White Claws, is it not like a...
It's like a little... It's like how like Young Gravy makes music, but it's also like a little silly.
Yeah.
Like how I feel like Lil Dicky is like, I'm full silly most of the time.
Huh.
Young Gravy, I feel like, is less, I'm full silly.
Really? I thought, just off rip, I would probably place that the other way around, but I'm not like...
Lil Dicky is like a 10-minute song about like...
Okay, I'll say...
Old Lil Dicky.
Yeah, Lil Dicky's weird or funny or silly is more silly than Young Gravy's silly.
Yeah.
But I feel like Young Gravy's a pretty consistently silly. Like, it's like he's riding the same wave a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Lil Dicky kind of flows in and out.
And I use samples from old, like, Motown
Soulful
boop songs.
Yeah.
That's not the right word, but...
I know what you mean exactly.
It's that vibe.
Yeah. Soul music. But...
You know what? When you said soul music, you know what the first thing that popped in my head was? Metro Boomin's hit, BBL Drizzy. I love that song. Just that beat, rather, because it's not really a song.
Yeah, and that was a sample, or it's not even a sample. It was just an AI created thing that sounds like a sample.
I don't think it. We'll have to look at that.
What do you mean?
I don't know if the BBL Drizzy is an AI thing.
The voice.
You sure?
I'm almost positive. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was trying to figure out who that... I thought it was Michael... Because on the video, the clip that we have...
We talked about, like, maybe it was supposed to be kind of like Michael Jackson.
We didn't talk about that. Unless we had a telepathic conversation that I wasn't...
Or maybe we talked about it off air.
I feel like I wanted to bring this up with you, but I haven't.
I know that my brain would not have connected these dots, so you definitely did.
It was me. Because I don't feel like I've said this to anybody.
Unless we, like...
You don't think you talked to anybody else about it?
I know that I did not talk to anybody else about this specific thing.
Okay.
And then I know that my little noggin would not have connected the dots that have been connected in my head.
Well, I mean, we've talked about Michael Jackson relating to this situation outside of the song, though.
But no,
right?
I'm almost positive you thought it was like a Jackson 5 era Michael Jackson singing BBL Drizzy.
Yeah.
We definitely talked about this. We had to have. I even got the right era of Michael Jackson.
Now I think I do remember because you started playing the song for me.
Yeah.
And I don't even think I realized that was the same song at the time that we were talking about before.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, I definitely remember that now. But yeah, I thought it was a Michael Jackson because on the clip you say that it's a girl singing.
It sounds kind of...
Which I think it is. Because that's what I found that that's what other people are saying. And also it's on Genius. That's what it's described as.
What if it's Drake's daughter?
No, it's okay. That'd
be crazy if Metro Boomin went down into the rabbit hole, said, "Hey, I'm gonna auto tune the heck out of your voice."
Who it sounds like is not even a person though.
They might be,
but we don't know that. And also, it sounds like she's not. But I'm not 100% positive on that.
Well, we wouldn't think Drake has any children until the Pusha T bomb.
Yeah, that's true. But this one did seem a little bit. I don't know. It seems a little weird to be like, oh, that was... Unless, I mean, maybe that is...
The thing for me, though... Have we already talked about this? I think we have.
I'm not sure.
If anyone's wondering why we're not talking about basketball much, I'm depressed about how Game 4 went.
Yeah.
So I'm coping, and I'm avoiding it. And we're in person, so it's even more unhinged.
Yeah. So what were you just going into there? You said...
Yeah, I definitely have said this before. If I was Drake and I was feeding this person information, and I think this is a pretty widely acknowledged, like Drake did this the worst way possible. If he really made up a story and then gave it to Drake via the air quotes rat that Kendrick had an OVO, then why wouldn't you like Kendrick drops a song and then you like drop even if it's just like a song of you laughing. And then the album art is like the screenshot of the text or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the proof that, like, I fed him this.
Uh-huh.
Isn't this silly?
Uh-huh.
Like, you didn't even have to make a whole diss track. Honestly, that would have been way better. I can't believe just you laughing for, like, 5 seconds, and then we're like, gotcha. And then just the album art would be the screenshot of the text or email of you feeding that person the information. But would do it right immediately after the other person dropped. So it's not like a...
Yeah.
It would be like a oh, this wasn't a reaction. This was like a planned counterpunch.
Maybe he doesn't want to give up his his source, his connection that's in Kendrick's camp because he doesn't want he doesn't want to compromise his position.
But then if he's already saying I've got a rat, how many people is Kendrick talking to in OVO? Or OVO as he would call them?
Yeah.
Which also, there's so many like little clips that whenever I hear the word, like, I can't hear Certified Lover Boy anymore.
Yeah.
Without going Certified Pedophile. Or what's another one that was just a zinger? Oh, Strike a Chord. It's probably A minor.
You don't know.
I was listening to Dave Buckley. Is it Dave Buckley? No.
I was going to say Dave Navarro just to be funny, but Dave, like the Jeff Buckley? Jeff Buckley.
Jeff Buckley. And he goes like a secret chord, and then my brain went A minor. And that's like a song about like the Lord and David and
it is.
And then the thing is pedophilia is the first thing that popped into my head because of Kendrick Lamar and how he put Drake in his place. Also, I was never a big Drake guy, so that probably doesn't help.
Anyways, I do want to circle back to the sample. Technically, it was a sample, but it was from a song that was AI generated from this year.
Oh.
And I think I remember reading this now.
Yeah, granted, the lyrics BBL Drizzy, that's never existed before.
Yeah. I'm not sure why we didn't both just say, oh yeah, duh, it is obviously...
not Michael Jackson.
Or anybody that would have been in that era singing, like they wouldn't have said those things. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Unless someone is an alien.
Yeah. Which
like that Daniel Craig movie where he gets like a little wrist thing and it's Cowboys vs. Aliens.
Okay.
Give it a goog.
Yeah. But King Willonius or whatever. He's the one who made the beat originally. But then Metro Boomin made a
beat and then just added the...
Well, like it was already a diss beat that was made by somebody else, but he just took that sample or that song that's in that beat and made a new beat just using that sample as like the backbone of it.
Also, the thing that I noticed is way more people think they can rap than I thought. There's a lot of people that took that BBL Drizzy beat and were like...
I didn't hear a single one.
I'm gonna cook. I also think I listen to the BBL Drizzy beat a lot more than you do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've probably heard it 4 times, maybe.
It's so catchy.
I would like it a lot more if it wasn't, like, if it was just like a... Also, if it was slowed down a little bit, it feels just a little... It feels like I'm listening...
I think that's the original, if I've heard... Because I've heard it like what felt like an altered version, but this must be the original cut, it's like a lot slower. Like, it doesn't feel like he's speaking fast. He's like, don't act like you don't... It's like, you act like you don't know. It's like a lot more...
A slowed down...
Flowy. Yeah. I think that's probably the original.
What do you mean by original? Like
the original AI.
The one that the King Willionis or whatever made? Yeah, probably. But anyways, to get this a little bit back on track, it feels like there was another diversion we started to make right before Drake came up.
Oh, because someone that famously does not like the West Coast is Dan Hurley.
Dan Hurley. I don't know if I would say that he doesn't like the West Coast. Did he say something about that?
Maybe this was commentary I heard after the fact, was the fact that, like, he's an East Coast guy, his wife's an East Coast gal. So it also feels like West Coast people don't hate the East Coast like the East Coast hates the West Coast. Like, the East Coast...
So why is this being turned into an East... It's like, is he a rapper?
No. No, but I think this is like a general...
yeah, I mean, it exists,
like,
for sure.
that vibe of, like, an Eastern seaboard human...
Yeah.
Is a lot less like, I'm not going west of the Ohio River. Those people don't believe in anything good. They're...
I guess I don't know. Maybe that is something with. But isn't he? Didn't he? Was he ever in the NBA, or was that just his brother that played in the Bobby Hurley? I guess I don't know if Dan Hurley ever spent time in the NBA. But he, I guess, like, I feel like part of it could be that, but also part of it.
That was also me just trying to stretch a transition to get from rap and music.
So there wasn't actually like a.
No, that was like an actual like point that people made was like more the moving away, but like the
fact that
his entire everything has been East Coast almost his whole life.
Okay, and so it's more people that are assuming that West Coast just isn't for him. That's probably
because it's a different universe. Yeah. I also think,
but he's. I think a big piece of it, obviously, is the opportunity, the very rare opportunity to three-peat a college championship this next season. Looking like one of the top teams coming into the next year.
You're also inheriting a big old bucket of poop with the Lakers. Like there's like you're locked into a direction. There's not like many like you're not inheriting like a Rockets where you can
I mean
you've got like.
But it is also that you're being the head coach of the Lakers, which is an insane position.
Which if anybody's going to be a weird, insane psycho with that title meaning nothing to them, it would be like Dan Hurley.
Like he's not drawn by that.
That doesn't break it for him. He's like, I'm the coach of UConn. That's a pretty.
I don't know. I mean, if somebody that lives like eats
an East Coast
and
guy,
breathes,
like a UConn guy as a child.
I think even the most biggest Boston Celtics fan, just thinking of like you literally have the opportunity at your fingertips to get paid more money than you're being paid right now to go be the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Like that's pretty nuts.
I'm not a head coach, so I can't speak on that.
You don't think there's anything there that's like it's like a just that prestigious like organization like. What are we doing right now?
I think if you wouldn't have said the Boston part,
like you're saying, even
if you would have said like you're like a big Knicks guy,
I don't know.
I wouldn't do it.
I'm not saying you would do it, but I'm saying that there's at least that feeling of like, oh wow, that would be nuts. Even though I'm not a Lakers fan, I hate the Lakers. Being the head coach of the Lakers, like that's like a pretty wild title. Like that's not like a normal NBA team. It's not like the same.
There's only like three teams that have that. The Knicks, Celtics, and Lakers. That have this like preposterous level of like.
And I put the Celtics and Lakers above.
The Knicks obviously have historical success, but the Knicks are just the Knicks. It's like.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like culturally iconography. But Lakers and Celtics have that, at least to a similar extent, but then also the massive success, like a ton, like I don't even 70-fold what the Knicks have in terms of success.
Well, because if you combine them,
it would be 17. Well, do we want to count 18 right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would have 35 divided by 2 is
17 and a half.
17 and a half fold championship wise. Because the Knicks have 2 championships.
Yeah.
And them and the Celtics are the only 2 current teams that are still in the same city with the same mascot, the same organization as one of the original 8 teams of the NBA. Oh. They're both the 2 of the original teams.
What's and the Rochester Knicks then?
Rochester Knicks?
I thought the Rochester Knicks were a thing.
I've never heard of that.
I might be a silly goose.
I mean the Westchester Knicks is their G League team.
Maybe I'm a silly goose.
I'm guessing Rochester, like the north, the upstate city. Feels kind of weird that would be where the NBA team was at one point.
It's Westchester Knicks. You're totally right.
And that's just the G League team.
The Rochester Red Wings. I don't know what they are, but they exist. So shout out to
them. But so yeah, the Knicks is just like them having that incredible history as in terms of like they've been a team as long as anyone has.
Mm-hmm.
The only peer they have in that department is the Boston Celtics,
and they have 9 more championships, nine more times more.
Yeah, nine times the championships,
which is sick.
16 more rings than.
Also, I couldn't find the basketball hat for everybody that's watching. This is my Larry Bird jersey, and
I totally forgot about that.
Because I didn't want to cut up a basketball.
Felt wrong.
To cut up a basketball just to make it as a hat.
I don't know. It kind of sounds cool, but
it does.
You didn't
Maybe
want to buy one.
Game 5. I look like a guy named Danny Rose.
That's his name.
Yeah,
you found his name.
He is a Celtics fan that is approximately my age, and it's an all-time clip. Just look up Danny Rose Celtics fan and smile for 45 seconds.
I haven't even seen the clip. I just saw a screenshot, honestly.
Oh, he screams, "I need it!" It's awesome. And I have a passing resemblance to that individual.
Yeah, I did you get my text that was it looks like you and Luca just crossed into one human, fused into one human.
Anyway,
You don't like that though? You don't want to
Oh, that's fine.
Luca's just on the wrong side.
I don't see the Luca parts. I guess
really. I see I definitely. It's like Luca and
just
Jake.
Just pudgy Luca.
No. Just it's you, but then you add in like Luca's more
a Slovenian descent. Me.
Yeah. Having more of a pointier nose and.
I do have a little. I actually have a fun fact. If everybody's watching the podcast, I have a baby's nose.
You stole it?
No, all infant babies roughly have the same-ish looking nose.
Sure. And it's that one.
It's this nose. I just never grew out of it.
Honestly, it might be one of the biggest main picks in people who are, cosmetically trying to alter their nose. Is probably
that's gotta be up there.
Yeah,
nose and boobs probably.
What?
Nose and boobs, boob jobs, they're everywhere.
Yeah, but I was saying that I think that your nose type is the most common.
I thought you were saying, like, out of all the plastic surgeries that are done, nose is probably the top done nose.
Or done surgery.
Like, it's the done surgery.
Yeah.
Like,
it's probably up there.
I was saying, like, nose.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Breast augmentation. And then probably liposuction if that counts.
For a second, I thought you were saying that
people desire to have my breasts.
Your nose and your breasts are the template.
No, I do a pretty solid pecs for a dude, even though I'm a fat guy. But
that sentence was so slurred.
I'm tired.
Oh man.
But yeah.
Okay.
Dan Hurley. I don't think that. I just don't think UConn is as a job for someone from that area-ish. Where the state that they have it, you're already making enough. Like, obviously, more money is never bad, but like you're making a ton of money anyway. Yeah. It's not like it's breaking the bank whether you go take the job or not.
Oh yeah, he's not going to be hurting. I mean, he's making like $6 million a year right now. I think and he would be for that Lakers offer. Which was a lot less than what was rumored they were going to offer him.
Yeah.
It was 6 years, $70 million. So it had been over $10 million a year. So
because the number was pretty much they offered him double almost, and he just said no.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that it's possibly part of the fact that you've got like a college program that is in a very, very healthy place. I think that Dan Hurley also gives off the vibes of Nick Saban in the NFL or football world was like this, where like some guys are just their coaching style does not lend as well to having NBA level superstar or the professional league superstar style of guys.
Yeah, or just the way that system works, how they build the team.
It's not as conducive to certain people because some guys have the same amount of X's and O's knowledge, but they just have like different ways to navigate. Having some, Hall of Fame talent on your roster.
Yeah, and how to just assemble a roster and scheme.
And then not being able to be part of that decision. Yeah. Being like, you could like come into work and you've got a game plan written up for, let's go I keep trying to think of old Lakers. I'm trying to think of current ones, but I keep going like...
Rui Hachimura.
Sure. Let's say you have a game plan written up for Rui Hachimura for some reason. And then he just gets traded. And you're like,
yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, which, I mean, typically I think the coaches, especially if it's somebody who's going to be one of the highest paid coaches in the league, is going to be pretty involved in those decisions. But obviously he's not the end-all, be-all in that department.
And Rob Pelinka is,
yeah. And he'll call
the fact that he has evaded it with firing is nuts.
I mean, he's made some pretty good moves recently. But
yes, but he also had a championship roster and said, let's blow it up.
Yeah, and even before that, gave up more than anyone had ever given up for anyone for Anthony Davis, who explicitly said, the only team I will go to and re-sign a contract with is the Los Angeles Lakers.
It's the same thing as if Dame's like, I'm playing in Miami, but then instead of like being like, okay, we're going to offer like the lowest we have to. Miami's like, here's every asset we can possibly give you, sir.
Yeah.
Was this enough? Would you like more?
We literally can't give you any more picks.
We have 2 players. We will only have Damian Lillard and Jimmy Butler. We're starting over. Is this enough? Oh, you'd like Jimmy as well? We can't do that. We could give you the jersey rights for Dwayne Wade. You can hang his jersey in your rafters.
All his franchise accolades.
Also, do you think that there will be a Jerry West universal retirement
also
in the
need
rafters?
To mention that. We have not mentioned that. R.I.P. to Jerry West.
That is, I mean, the NBA's had some tough deaths, like some prominent figures pass, and it's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
I don't want to say thankfully because someone passed away, but he lived a very long life and passed away peacefully from all the reports that have been seen. I believe it was 86.
86,
as opposed to the
71.
71 that Bill Walton was. Obviously, both are unfortunate and wish it didn't happen, but that's just the 2 constants in life is being born and dying.
That's true.
I mean, that's... As you breathe.
Sometimes, I mean, a lot of people don't even get born, but they're not even born, you know? They don't even reach that point.
Oh, that's true.
So, wait, what?
If I say this, you have to cut it out.
Okay.
Promise me?
I will. I promise you.
Okay.
That is one I will definitely cut out. Yeah.
What was I saying, though?
We were talking about Jerry West.
Oh, do you think that coming back after that, do you think that Jerry West would have like a similar to Bill Russell, where 6 is kind of universally shut down? Do you think that he will have a
44
closed across the association? Also, the logo's not changing
anytime soon. Yeah, that's for sure.
Like everyone that remembers Jerry West will have to die.
Before it can be changed, you're saying? No, I thought you were saying like if it does change.
No, because people in his honor, they should change it. I'm like, do you know what honoring someone means? Are you dumb?
Well, because he didn't want it to be.
Well, he's also technically not it, according to the NBA.
Legally.
Because then they don't have to pay his estate. Honestly, that's how you would honor him. You'd be like, this is actually a picture of Jerry West. Here's billions of dollars.
Well, I think that part is accepted, but I think the thing is like a creative they have like the creative freedom to have their like they have enough additive changes of what it was enough to legally constitute it as not like his likeness. I think is the way they get around it legally. But yeah, he was also just not a fan of them using that to be the logo.
Honestly, yeah, I don't know how. I mean, it's so up and down. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, you wouldn't. I don't think it's very recognizable because I think his head is also much more.
Kind of looks like if
Bob Cousy. Honestly, to me, it looks more like Bob Cousy.
Which shout out to Bob Cousy. He's been throwing straight heat this week.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was still alive until this week.
Well, I don't think he thinks he's going to be alive much longer because he's like. Essentially, with a lot of expletives, like, just go win it, Celtics. I want to see the 18th one. I'm already living in overtime, I think is what he said verbatim. He's like, I'm 95 or 96. I'm already in overtime. I just want to see the 18th banner. So shout out to Bob Cousy. That was awesome. He also said something else.
about Kyrie, I think. I didn't even read that quote, to be honest.
It's just wild to me that like it's just like nobody had talked to him, and then he randomly like called up the Boston Globe and was like, "I'll do an interview if you want," and then out of the interview came just straight heat.
What did it even say? Do you remember it all? I don't want to put you on the spot.
It's like he's not even a superstar. He's been rattled.
Okay.
To the point where it was either in TD Garden or just in general, he is no longer a superstar. He can't hang.
Specifically in that building.
I can't remember if it was in that building or just in general.
Because he said this after Game 3, correct?
Yes.
Which was the good Kyrie game.
Yes. So it has to be talking about the Garden.
The Garden. Okay.
Which, there's something to it. Because tonight was the first time that Kyrie has beaten the Celtics since he stomped on Lucky's face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Quite famously. I've honestly that moment has lived so much longer than I thought it. Like I
should have.
I thought it was, even that people were paying attention to it and like making it this thing at the time. I was kind of like, is this a thing? Like I mean, when you watch the video, that is pretty odd. That's
what he's doing.
That's what he did. Yeah.
It's not like he just like had something on his shoes. He went and found Lucky's beautiful button nose.
Which is a weird thing to do. Like, just trying to put myself in Kyrie, which is a weird thing to do.
Well, I think that people find logos sacred. Like, it's Terrell Owens standing on the star of the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, that's true.
I think that's just like.
But he's also a weirdo, isn't he?
He's
eccentric. We'll say that.
Yes, I was going to say that he's like Kyrie without like
the sage and the religion and the weird spiritual
aspect.
I
would call it pseudoscience, but I'm going to call it
the spiritual aspect.
Yes, he's instead of spiritually driven, he's ego driven.
Yeah, he's like Waka Flocka Flame if he was a pro athlete.
My favorite Waka Flocka Flame. Honestly, this might be one of the after.
I meant Flava Flav. Is what I meant. I don't know why I said Waka Flocka.
But speaking of, I might actually make him a after episode research candidate.
Okay.
Because he tried to run for president, but he wasn't old enough.
He did. Yeah, I do remember that.
So he did this whole campaign, and then when he went to sign up, he's like, "Oh, I gotta be 35." No one told him
before he started campaigning. Oh man!
And it was like the internet, so obviously it blew up. Like, it probably didn't get very far. It probably did 3 things.
I feel like I heard about it a long time after it actually happened. Is when I first was aware of it.
Oh,
years later. But yeah, I guess I'm trying to reel this back in so we can wrap this thing up. To actually talk a little bit about the the Lakers head coaching search. So JJ Redick was the guy who was in all the rumors for a while. It was like every report that came out was like, oh, the Lakers are circling in on. At one point, I was like, how many more
circles can they do?
Yeah, how many? Why are we getting updated on it's saying the same exact thing just again? It's like, oh, they're really narrowing it down now. Before, the only name we mentioned was JJ Redick, and now the only name we're mentioning is still JJ Redick. But they're more narrowed down.
Yeah.
So
I think the names that they have now,
James Borrego, I think
was James Borrego or Borrego. Oh, okay, well, I'm stupid. And then
I know that you used to say it Borrego or something.
And then Nova coach.
No, like the current one?
Former Nova
coach. Jay Wright.
Jay Wright has been a name that has been thrown out, but he is content where he is, apparently. And the quote that I remember somebody saying was, it would not be, a team would not be doing their due diligence if they did not give Jay Wright a call and be like, do you want to maybe coach again?
Yeah.
Because you're pretty good at it, and we loved it. So it seems like it's pretty much down to 2. And I think that the Lakers might lose to the Cavaliers, ironically. Because if I'm a coach that's just trying to, removing the brand, looking at the teams in the future, you want to be there for a while.
Uh-huh.
I feel like Cleveland is more desirable long term.
You're saying JJ Redick is going to choose Cleveland?
Borrego.
Oh, which From what I've heard, James Borrego.
I'm going to be self-conscious about his name for the rest of my life.
Why?
By the way, I swore it was Borrego or Borrega.
Yeah. Anyways, I think he is the reason why he's in there, to be honest. It sounds like the only backing he really has as the head coach. Like that, it sounds like they do want him, at least they're willing to bring him on
as a staff member.
Yeah, with JJ Redick. But the person who's really pushing for him is Anthony Davis. Apparently really wants him as the head coach.
Oh.
Because they have a relationship from Anthony Davis's rookie year with the Pelicans, because he was on staff there at the time. And also, somebody pointed this out, that apparently Anthony Davis, the main thing is he just doesn't want JJ Redick, because JJ Redick was one of the few people who didn't put Anthony Davis on either the first or second all-defensive team this year, which is a kind of wild stray that was thrown by JJ Redick to not include AD, who was pretty clearly first team all defense,
fourth or third defensive player of the year.
I would put him third.
So that would mean that in theory he would be first team.
Yeah, but
comfortably.
So to feel a certain type of way about that makes sense.
Which AD also feels like the type of guy that would.
Yeah. So maybe that's the reason why he was like, I'm not on board with what LeBron's podcast host becoming our next head coach.
Which I also feel like that is probably why it will be JJ Redick, is because if LeBron has a good old buddy, old pal.
That's why it sounded like people were saying that the Dan Hurley angle, like the Lakers going after Dan Hurley, was a
power struggle.
Yeah, it was basically the move that they would make in saying like, okay, forget about LeBron. We're done with LeBron, essentially. Not really to that extent, but making a move for the first time in a while, making a move that was
LeBron conscious.
Exactly. It was what they want to do for the Lakers' future, not for LeBron's future. Because Dan Hurley, obviously, it seems like if you were, even though he's a fantastic coach, it would be at least a little bit of a period of like, kind of forming a team around him, being such a young guy who obviously doesn't have any NBA experience.
If you give Dan Hurley the Knicks, I think things are wild. Like a team that would respond to like what Tibbs kind of does, but I don't know if the Lakers squad would super respond to that. I feel like the Knicks would. I feel like there's a lot of teams that would. But yeah.
And the way he also has his offense run and everything, he's not super NBA style. It's not like, even though they're a really good team, they use like all the shot clock they can. Pretty slow paced. But so there would be like schematic things like that would probably have to change. But yeah, just
also, how did you do it again? How did your Nuggets bench survive another year?
What do you mean survive?
No one's been poached again.
Oh, the coaches.
Yes. How?
I thought you were talking about how bad our bench was.
No, sorry. How did your coaching bench survive another onslaught of jobs?
It's not done yet, is it?
I guess it's not done.
I think David Adelman has been interviewed by the
Cavs?
Yes, it was the Cavs. It was the Wizards. And I think the Suns. They fired Frank Vogel, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did they already hire somebody?
Did they hire Budenholzer? Or was that like a dream I had?
I don't know.
Is Mike Budenholzer on the Phoenix Suns? Is he
the coach of the Suns?
I feel like I heard about something about that, but
I've been honestly not even into off season yet.
Yeah, I mean, even though the Nuggets have been knocked out for a few weeks now, I have not shifted over quite yet. Still been paying attention to the basketball that is being played. Yes, he is the head coach for the Suns, Mike Budenholzer.
A month ago.
Yeah. So that was not a dream I had. That was real. Apparently, I didn't even know that. Mike Budenholzer used to be assistant coach for the. Oh, never mind. That's Mike Hopkins. Okay, I don't know why that even came up, but interesting. So yeah, he it wouldn't be that job anymore, at least. But I think David Adelman was
just the fact that my Celtics just get poached left and right and center.
Yeah, it's like not even just recognizable anymore. Well, Charles Lee has been brought, and this is his first year as an assistant coach with the Celtics, and now he's going to be the Hornets head coach.
Hornets,
yeah.
Why?
I mean,
and then somebody wants Sam Cassell. It's just an ever-present issue we'll face.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'm convinced that Joe Mazzulla will be the head coach of the Rockets if Ime doesn't do the Ime stuff. Whatever that whole scenario was.
Oh, you're saying retroactive.
Like someone else would just take him, and I wouldn't get to enjoy him. I wish he called timeouts in a different way, but man, I love everything else about that guy.
Yeah. No, but how many coaching vacancies are there even? It feels like there's
Cavs. And Lakers.
Mm-hmm. And Suns have filled theirs, it sounds like. But the Hornets have
Wizards.
And it sounds like they are pretty I don't know if it's official yet, but apparently what I've heard is that they are very happy with the interim guy, that they might just keep him. Which I don't even remember his name, to be honest. But he has white hair. I know that. Slicked back.
Portland hasn't changed.
I think that's still Chauncey.
I thought that he was being given more time to cook. Did Vogel go somewhere?
Did Vogel find a new team?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think he just got fired not very long ago.
Ham is going to Milwaukee as an assistant.
Oh, back to Milwaukee. That's where he was before.
Yep, as an assistant under Doc Rivers.
Interesting.
Trying to think if
instead of going to join Mike Budenholzer in Phoenix, which is who he was following before. It wasn't like he didn't start in Milwaukee. He started with Mike Budenholzer in Atlanta and then followed him to Milwaukee. So that's interesting that he wouldn't go follow him.
Atlanta hasn't changed their coach yet.
Yeah, well, they just it was his first year, Quinn Snyder, first full year.
Yeah,
he was interim. He was
also the Bucks offensive guy left.
Terry Stotts.
Surprised he hasn't gone somewhere again yet.
Yeah.
Or jumped on as an assistant somewhere.
He might have. I guess I don't
remember seeing it. I don't think he did for at least this season. It might have been after, but I don't think.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't this season.
Because he's good. Like he's not bad at all.
No. Yeah. But yeah, I think that
the carousel spins on.
But the Lakers won. JJ Redick sounds like he's going to be the guy.
Which I think is a mistake, but not because I don't think JJ Redick will be a good coach, but I'd like to see you coach something else before you get given the biggest brand in basketball to coach.
Yeah, see, so like the prestige.
But I'm just saying to like a weird cycle like Hurley, I don't know if that
is the same.
Like I don't think, granted, Joe Mazzulla's at the Celtics, which is like, but like there's just certain people that I feel like would be able to remove the brand from their brain and just look at the situation separate. They wouldn't, like, the brand wouldn't magically, like a cheeseburger to me tastes better if it's $1.99 as opposed to $5.99. My brain just makes it taste better.
Okay.
I can't.
Wait, the cheaper one tastes better?
The cheaper one tastes better. Even if they're comparable or even if the cheaper one's slightly worse, I saved $4.
Never heard that before, but that's interesting. Oh, it's kind of a cheat code, honestly.
For sure a thing in my brain.
Yeah.
I can't be objective about those types of things. But I feel like there's some basketball guys that can also do that, but not when it comes to the price of a food item or a team. It's the what is there. And if you look at it in a vacuum, an almost 40-year-old LeBron James and Anthony Davis, where you're like pretty sure he wants to be there, but when LeBron's gone, you don't really know. A team that doesn't have their picks, a team that honestly, outside of having their brand and like aging all-star, superstar level people, not much going for them in terms of like young reload and go back again. You've got Austin Reeves, who's a great player, but like if he's anything better than your fourth option, I don't know if you're winning things. Maybe third. Maybe fourth isn't fair.
I'd go third.
If he's your second option, you're not making a deep playoff run, I don't think.
That'd be hard. Yeah.
It would be...
You'd have to have a perfectly orchestrated and
or you just run into the perfect rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, this is what we're built for. Mm-hmm. So I just think that objectively, you're like, I have the chance to only other guy that's ever done it is John Wooden. All the trophies, the guy that literally every coaching award ever is named after at the college level. He's the only other guy that's done this. So I could go try and do that. And then...
To do what?
To win 3 in a row. I'm from the Hurley.
Danny Hurley. Okay.
Why the UConn job just seems better and better. Mm-hmm. But... yeah, I'm not shocked he didn't take it. I do love that he stretched it out and then very publicly was like, no.
Yeah, so it did seem like a little bit of a leverage move which is just smart to do when you're there's just a lot of people who benefited from that situation happening. I mean, JJ Redick or the Lakers benefit because they're it's like there's another candidate. It's not just all JJ Redick, so he doesn't have all the leverage, and then. Apparently it was a big side of Woj being able to have something that he was adding to the conversation instead of Shams being the one who was reporting on everything. And then it helped Hurley out with recruits and also contract negotiations in the future. Getting more appreciation
which I don't think UConn was ever going to do him dirty. But if they thought about it, they're like, this guy publicly kind of picked us over. We should probably give him at least a fair market best coach in college basketball type of offer, which he's already getting up in that ballpark.
Or at least it could have been the situation of they realized we could lose him, he could go to the Lakers, that could almost happened.
Yeah, we were close.
Yeah,
but I think the recruiting trail it did a lot. The guys that were staying were and he apparently Hurley was able to get to his players and tell them hey. This is probably going to explode everywhere. I'm talking to them. But it also could have been psychopath Hurley being I'm going to see how much, but I'm probably not leaving. You guys will know before anybody else does. It sounds like he was able to talk to his players, so players, unfortunately happens all too often, didn't have to hear, walking from the lunchroom, Sports Center on the TV.
Their coach is leaving.
And
the one that just recruited them there.
Yeah. So that's good. I think that he got a lot of ups there, but this episode is long. It's got a lot of juice in it. A lot of stuff to cut out too, but a lot of juice. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can wrap this one up. It is very late. This is the latest I think we've ever been recording a podcast. That's for sure. I don't know if we'll do this again. Next time we record in person, hopefully it'll be at a normal time.
I'd be my tongue.
Jacob is just in shambles at this point. His body is betraying him. His team has betrayed him.
No.
Oh, no. Okay.
I don't like the effort we have had, but we're up 3-1.
Yeah.
156 teams historically have our back on this one. So I will...
Pretty good odds.
I will roll the dice. I feel really great about Game 5. I think it's done in 5. But if it might go 7, whatever, we are a better team.
Yes.
If the Mavericks role players do what they do again tonight, combined with all of the season-wide poor performances we saw from Boston, we've not seen them do all of those things that bad. Jeez Louise, my tongue hurts so bad. All of those things that bad at one time. If we do that 4 more times, congratulations to the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, that would be wild, but...
I will cry.
At the least.
To the extent of my tear ducts would break. They would be like, we've given up, boss. You've cried enough tears for a whole lifetime.
Yeah.
It could be a whole storyline in Osmosis Jones.
I don't know what that is.
Give it a goog.
Okay. I might.
While Logan Googles that, head on over to patreon.com/Hoop Theory or buy me a coffee, also Hoop Theory. Thank you again to everyone for subscribing on YouTube. TikTok, it's following on TikTok, but it's the same idea. We got to 5,000 followers on TikTok, and it is the lucky winner
Luke Beal.
Luke Beal. I was going to say Ben something, but it's Luke Beal. So thank you. We will be, Logan will. I won't do anything other than order the jersey when he tells me to. We will be figuring out what he wants, and keep tuning around. Keep getting your friends to flock to the TikTok and the YouTube and stuff, because when we get to other milestones, we'll probably do stuff like this again, foreshadowing. Head on also over to patreon.com so you can get a fun little look at, I will break down a different topic for Logan. This topic next one's going to be The Fame Monster by Lady Gaga. We already did one about Menards, so you can go check those out. They're a little funny, goofy, 5-10 minutes. Nice little restroom break during work type of length.
Yeah.
Depending on what kind of business you're doing in there. But anyway, I think that's all I have to add.
Yeah. So thanks for listening. Stay happy. Stay healthy. We will talk to you guys next episode.
Peace.